And we are live now officially. Oh, I love it. So let's see here. Let's do a little bit of this. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Gentlemen After Dark, a place where grown folks can talk without judgment. You know, we like to start on time, promptly, and I want to thank you, number one guest. Let me see, I don't even know who it is, but hopefully you'll say hi or something. I want to thank y'all for being prompt to Gentlemen After Dark. Give everybody a few seconds to get in here before I start the show like we normally would show or start it. 3 is in the building, Miss Offord. Look at that, right out the gate. Oh, hello, hello, hello from Miss T to and Wanda. Wanda E. You know the story, you know the story.
All right.
Miss Michelle, I see you. Good evening, Michelle Jones. Ilona Wade, hello there. Good to see you. Hopefully you are recovering well this evening. Miss Veronica, wow, look at there. Veronica is up tonight. I love it. All the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's my sister. I love it. She's staying up past her bedtime, y'all, but guess what? She is here, and I love that so much. Thank you so much for being here. Day Day is in the building. I love it. Good. We got about 10 viewers. So, you know, because I have so much that I want to talk about tonight, we're not going to drag this all out. We're going to make sure that we get it in. So, you know how we like to do this. We're going to start it off in a proper manner, like Gentlemen After Dark does. Let me get rid of that. Ms. Z, look at you. I see you. Welcome back. I see you. I love it. Welcome back, ma'am. And we're going to do it like this. We're going to go on over here and start it up. Y'all ready to get Gentlemen After Dark started? I am. Let's start it like this.
Live in studio, you're tuned into Gentlemen After Dark. Hey, Onyx.
So tonight's episode of Gentlemen After Dark is sponsored to you by Soul Body Mind, where their slogan is, go ahead, indulge. Dana Hunter, I want to thank you for being a part of Gentlemen After Dark yet once again. For those of you who have those needs for the all natural and CBD products, please reach out to Miss Dana at soulbodyminddetox.com. She can definitely take care of your needs. Man, tonight is going to be an epic conversation, you guys. I have a powerful panel of one. And when I say powerful, this young lady packs a punch, and hopefully she'll be able to reach the minds, the souls, maybe even the hearts of some of my viewers tonight. So, you know, the subject tonight, or the topic on Gentlemen After Dark, is going to be about what? Mental wealth. And I chose mental wealth, the wealth part of the word, because some of us are afraid to talk about mental health. But when you look at it, mental wealth, what exactly is mental wealth? I'm not going to answer that question. What I'm going to do is this. I want to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my guest, my co-host tonight, Miss Wanda E. I could say a whole lot about her, but guess what? I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to allow Miss Wanda to introduce herself personally to you. So, Wanda, welcome to Gentlemen After Dark. Let the people
Wow,
know.
thank you. It is a pleasure to be here. You have given me a heck of an introduction. I am honored, but wow, like you've put me up there, so I hope that I live up to the platform that you've definitely put me on. One
Hey,
being yours, and I'm very very grateful for that.
I believe in you. So guess what? I'm gonna just do like this. Please, Wanda, tell the audience who you are, your qualifications, what you do, all that good stuff.
Right. So my name is Wanda Earl. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California. Um, what do I do? I do mental health, everything mental health. My background and specialty is in children and family services. Um, I originally started with the youth authority and I went on to work with children and families from pregnant and parenting teens to transitional age youth to adults in transition. I've worked with pretty much every population that there is. Right now, I still work with children and families, and I'm also uh, in the private practice sector, which I've been in part time for about 4 years now. So that's pretty much the gist of it as far as I'm concerned, credential wise.
Man, the private practice sector. I know you've seen a whole lot. I am grateful for being introduced to you by way of Miss Theresa Offord. I got to say thank you to her. Hold on, let me do it right. So, three, once again, you come through with power, you come through with knowledge. And I thank you for this opportunity to meet Miss Wanda, Miss Wanda E, as I so eloquently call her. Uh, our initial contact, it was a 2 hour and 3 minute conversation of getting to know who this young lady is.
Right.
And I am so honored and grateful to have that conversation with you. And I know that we'll be able together to share some things that will be beneficial to the audience. We will definitely handle the audience with sensitivity
Mhm.
and finesse so that everybody walks away feeling good about themselves. One thing that I do want to remind my audience, Gentlemen After Dark is a place where grown folks can talk without judgment. So, what we talk about tonight, we are not here to expose anybody's illnesses, issues, whatever it is on Front Street. We all know that we have issues. And if you don't have any issues, then you're not being honest with yourself. But at the same time, we all know that we are protective of what goes on inside of us or our families. So let's be mindful of that. Let's not step on anyone's toes because that's not what we're here for. We're actually here just to be educational. We're not here to do any consultations, if you will, or diagnosis. We're just here to give you some information that could be beneficial if you are going through something. Because believe it or not, one of you out of 22, maybe more, is going through something silently. So this was a subject that I wanted to see us address. So without further ado, and again, audience, if you guys have any questions, please, 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 please feel free to put those up here so that we can address those if we can. If we can't, guess what? I am going to direct you to Miss Wanda directly, where you can reach out to her and talk to her in a private setting. All right. So with that, Wanda, let's start digging into this. I know that you said that you are licensed and you deal with children and family and marriages, and something that you made mention in our conversation about marriages. How do you view marriages? What exactly is your view of marriages?
Yeah, so I'll approach it from my title, which is licensed marriage and family therapist. So marriage goes beyond a husband and wife, or a partnership in terms of an intimate relationship. Um, Marriage is a partnership in any form. So it can be, a relationship with your children, a relationship with your family, co-workers, anything where you have to coexist with other people. So it can be, a duality, a family system, anything that represents unity is considered a relationship. So, or a marriage, if you will. So when we think of a marriage and family therapist, it's not just an intimate relationship, it's anything that represents a unity. So that's specifically in terms of term, because anytime, or not anytime, but oftentimes when people hear marriage, family, and therapist, they think just an intimate relationship, and it's no. I mean, you can go to counseling or work in a relationship with your children, with your siblings, with your partner, of course, but also with your, a person that you may work with, just any type of relationship that
Right.
makes sense. It makes absolute sense to go and see a marriage and family therapist, or any type of therapist for that matter. But it doesn't just mean that you have to be married and in a relationship. Just any form of a relationship is fine.
Right. That was a definite twist, if you will, to the word marriage for me. When you said that, I was like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. But
Mhm.
it is a true fact. It's a bond between two individuals or even multiples, family, siblings, co-workers, so on and so forth. So here we go with the first question. How do you define mental wealth?
Well, first, like I told you prior to this show, you need to really coin that phrase, because I think it was very, very unique. I absolutely, that was deep. Like I really, really like that. So, in pondering on that, when you presented it to me, I think of mental wealth as the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal. And when I say the ultimate goal, meaning that your mind, your body, and your soul is being tended to. Nothing is lacking, which is very hard. That's not easy. Even I'll say, especially on a regular basis, a daily basis, to tend to your mind, body, and soul. Because sometimes we can, tend to our body, or tend to our mind, or tend to our soul, but to do them all every single day, interactively or collectively, that's really, really hard. So I think that is the ultimate goal, mental wealth.
Right. Um, in our conversation, I said mental wealth for me was it was the process of caring for your mind, your body, your soul. Often we neglect one or the other, or a couple of the out of the three. We neglect it, and you know, if your body is weak, your mind gets weak. If your mind is weak, your body gets weak. If your soul is weak, man, your mind and your body is weak. So, hey, we have to do better with taking care of all three elements
Mhm.
when it comes to our mental wealth. And I know it's a subject that's taboo. A lot of people don't want to talk about their state of mind. They don't. I don't want to talk about death. I don't want to talk about this. Just leave me alone. And the more we leave those individuals alone, the more they suffer silently. So,
Right.
okay. Let's see here. I see something. I'm just double check. I'm teeter tottering. I'm reading comments too.
Right.
Um, so Miss Candace says, time for mindfulness is a requirement. Enough time didn't. Enough time didn't doing it can truly change your mental approach to things. Right. So not doing it, didn't do it. We definitely have to get it in. And
Right.
even Dana says, especially in our Black community. And that is true because, man, when it comes to the mentality, the mentals, the Black community, and our upbringings and the whole 9 yards, all of that encompasses what we do or don't do, which
Right.
leads me to our next question. What stigmas do you find associated with mental health?
Well, the two most common is first is crazy, second is medication. So, I don't want to see a therapist because I'm not crazy, or I don't want anyone to think I'm crazy, or, just something around that word crazy. And then medication. I'm not going to see a therapist. I'm not going to see, a mental health specialist because they're going to put me on meds. Now, the first one is absolutely not true. That's completely false. Never ever would you be considered as crazy. That's not even a word that any mental health professional would even utilize. But unfortunately, that's the stigma. And then medication, I'm not going to say that that's completely false, but one thing that I will say is that a licensed psychotherapist will never prescribe medication because that's outside of our scope of practice. We don't do that. So if you're going to see a therapist, psychotherapist, medication is not going to be prescribed to you. Now, there's definitely layers when it comes to that piece. There sometimes can be referrals made and things like that, but what I always try to encourage people to understand is that the therapist is not the expert. You're the expert. You are the expert of your life. The therapist is just there to help facilitate and help you navigate through the fog of the things that's going on with you. But you're the expert of your life. You know what's going on with you. So with that being said, you have every single right to decline. And I would hope that if that conversation is coming up, it's because you built a strong enough rapport with whoever your specialty person is around whatever issues or challenges that you're going through that might lead to medication. But on a very surface level, medication is not something that just comes up when you're going to see a therapist. That's rarely ever the case. Again, like I said, it's layers to that. So if you're getting to a point of medication, there's conversation had, there's psychoeducation that's taken place. There's a lot of other things that have taken place before a referral for that to happen. So, we can get in, that's a whole topic in and of itself, but those are stigmas that are not entirely true.
Okay. So I got a couple of questions from the audience. We'll start off here with Z. Z was asking, with our days being so busy, can you give us some tips on how we can care for ourselves mentally? What are some things that we could possibly do, for on a daily note?
Right. So right here, so I'm in my residence right now, and right on my wall, I have a note to myself. And I was telling before we started, I'm trying to get my little notes down so you guys don't see everything. But the note literally says, "Get quiet until you're done." That's a note to myself, and it's in yellow so I can see it really big. Because what happens is we have all these stimulations. We're listening to TV, we're listening to the music, we're listening to all this stuff. And even though, we feel like it's helping us, it drains your energy. So I really encourage you to get quiet, even if it's in the morning when you're getting ready for work, if you're still working outside of the home, or when you're doing laundry, or when you're washing dishes. Have that time where you're just silent and you're doing nothing, absolutely nothing. Or if you are doing something, you're doing it in silence, because it's really, really refreshing. You're giving whatever you're doing your undivided attention, and you're not draining yourself. And I'll say this specifically to women: we're known to be multitaskers, and we're often praised for that, which is a wonderful gift and a natural talent that we have. But you don't have to be. It's absolutely okay and cool. And I encourage you to do one thing at a time if you can. Give something your undivided attention. So I would say find some quiet time, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We always think, oh, I need to do yoga. Oh, I need to sit down for 15 minutes and just focus and meditate. No, while you're folding clothes, do it in silence. While you're washing dishes, do it in silence. While you're driving sometimes, do it in silence. Like, those little things really, really help to recharge and rejuvenate, because we give so much out. And sometimes we need that time to just be quiet and listen to our thoughts. And you'll be amazed at what comes out of just being quiet.
Silence can be so loud. It really can be. Ms. Z says, thank you. Great answer. Z, thank you for a great question. I'm going to follow that up with Miss Amanda. Miss Amanda says, another reason why she loves the marriage family therapist, allowing the client to narrate their own story and be the expert of their own experience.
Right.
Our conversation, I think it was yesterday, you made a valid point. As a therapist, I'm not the employer. I'm just speaking like you were saying. I'm not the employer. I'm the employee. I work for my client, the patient, if you want to use that terminology. I work for them. So
Correct.
I'm here to help them, not them help me. And, it's a world out here that, is suffering. So for those of us who are in the therapist community, if you are here for selfish reasons, maybe you're in the wrong field. If you're here to help people genuinely, because I always say on my show, Wanda, I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, gynecologist, or any other person. I'm just a regular person that enjoys having a conversation with people.
Right.
This is why Gentlemen After Dark was created, so that I could talk to people, help them through some of the things that they're going through. And guess what? In return, I'm helping myself because I have my own issues, But, kudos to you. Kudos to you as well, Miss Amanda. Thank you for that comment. That is definitely something that we definitely want to thank our therapists who are genuine to uh, the situation or to the community overall. How are you feeling so far? That's a question that I know that as a therapist, we should be asking, and I'm not a therapist again, but we should be asking people that sometimes, how are you feeling? And not that routine, mechanical, how you feel, but seriously, how are you feeling? So I'm gonna ask you, how are you feeling?
I feel fine. Well, fine is not a, I don't like that word. I feel good. I say I don't like that word because it wasn't honest. And with
Right.
that being said, not only um, are we not used to people asking us how we're doing, but the person on the reverse side that's answering the question, we're not used to being honest about how we're doing. It's, oh, I'm fine. And it's like, no, I'm not really fine. However, the consideration of the person asking the question, they're not always prepared to handle if you're not fine. So I think in that moment, if you decide to say fine, that's absolutely okay because I know we're doing it out of respect. But if there's a little bit of hesitation there, then that's something that, is worth looking into checking on, because there's definitely times where I'm like, no, I'm not fine. I'm not really, really fine, but I'm not going to unload that on my friend or my loved one. It's just a mental note that I'll take at that moment. Like, let me figure out what's going on because I'm not legitimately fine.
Which, looking at Mark Leonard's comment, thank you, bro, for being here. He said, being an active listener is a gift. Guess what? We all don't know how to do that. We don't know how to listen. And sometimes that's all I need. I just want to say X, Y, Z, and you listen to me. I don't need you to give me the ABC, the 1, 2, 3, or anything else. I just needed to. And from what I'm gathering, that's why it's so important to have someone that you could talk to, whether it be a therapist. You just made a point about what you don't want to unload all your issues onto your family members. So maybe I need that neutral entity that I can say whatever I need to say without them getting emotionally attached to my issue, my problem, my concern. Maybe I need that.
Yeah, and just a little bit fast forwarding back to when you talked about, or rewinding back to when you talked about the stigmas. And, oftentimes I hear, just in everyday life, like on TV shows and things like that, when we talk to people of our community, that we often say, oh, I talked to I've been to my friends, or I've been to my family, or to my wife, or to my husband, and things like that. So I don't really need therapy. And again, It's not my place to tell someone what they need or what they don't need. But what I will say is that your friends and your family are not always equipped to handle that unloading. They are not. They are not equipped to handle that. And furthermore, are we asking them if we can unload? Are we asking, are we saying first, is it okay? Oh, if I vent to you a little bit, I had a hard day today and I need to really, really get some stuff off my chest, because the reality of it is you're not equipped to handle what I'm about to dump on you. You don't know what I'm going to dump on you. And furthermore, because you're my friend or you're my spouse or my family member, you're going to respond from a place of love and concern, and sometimes intellectualize or attempt to help me fix what I'm going through or try to figure it out or even hold that pain with me because you're in this with me. So now I might feel better, but now my friend is holding all these emotions that I just unloaded on them without even asking. So, they may need therapy. And that is an example of secondary trauma. If I'm traumatized and now I've unloaded all this stuff on my friend or on my husband, on my wife, on my kids, I'm a family member, not intentionally, it's just we tend to do that. But you've done this, and now they have to handle all of these emotions that they can't help and they can't avoid because they love you, they care about you, they're concerned about you. So it definitely takes some practicing. But if it was one takeaway in regards to that, I would say ask first. Ask. I don't care who they are. Ask. Say, do you mind if I talk to you? Do you mind if I vent? I just need to get this off my chest. Is that okay? Because I've had friends, and this is not me speaking as a therapist now. I've had friends call me, let it out for 25 minutes and say, okay, girl, hang up the phone. It's like, okay, well, what?
Hey, wait a minute. Did I what?
Like, well, what? They're like, whoo, they feel wonderful. But I'm just sitting here like, wow. And you didn't even ask me how I was doing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wow. And it's funny because I talked to you yesterday briefly, and I just called you up just to make sure we still good for the show and everything. And your energy was different than day one. It's like, hey, you okay? Everything all right? And you was like, well, hold on. Let me pull my portable couch out. It's your turn. Let me hear what you have to say. And we talk right through it. And guess what?
What did I say? I say, is it okay? Did I not ask you first?
Yes, ma'am, you did. Can I do that?
I asked. I said, is it okay if I share something with you really quickly? And you say, yeah, sure. Do you have time? Is this a good time?
Right. Yeah.
Right. I asked first. And I vented my frustration that was happening right when you called me.
Right. And we work right on through it, got a little exercise in with it. Hey, happy. So I got a question from the audience, from Miss Lee Dot. Hey, Chanel. How do you deal with someone is going through mental issues? What would your recommendation be with that?
So here's the thing with that. And this goes back to me saying sometimes we want to intellectualize or we want to fix, our friends, our family members, or we view what they're going through as a problem or an issue, but they don't. So in situations like that, the most that you can do is share. And when I say share, I don't mean verbally share. I mean, like what O is doing here, or information that you might come across, whether it's a podcast or a book or something like that. Just share that with them. Direct them to those sources that you have, because what happens is they have to get to a place to where they are ready to seek help. Because a lot of times these people that we're concerned about, they don't even acknowledge, they are not aware at all that something is wrong. In their mind, every single thing is fine, but you being a friend, you're not, because you're not in the thick of it with them. You're an outsider looking in. And when you're on the outside looking in, you can see clearly. You see what's going on. But when you're in it, you don't see anything. So if anything, I would say, direct them to the resources that you have. O and I are going to provide a lot of those today. But just you're here today, listening to this, which is great, and we're thankful that you're here. But you would direct your friend to see this and just share it with them. But what you don't want to do is impose anything on them. What they need from you is to be their friend, not by no means I'm not saying that you're doing this, but they need a friend, and as a friend, just share with them, be there for them. And if you believe in prayer, pray for them. And I believe that they'll get to a point to where they realize that they need help and they acknowledge it. If they don't acknowledge it, I'm telling you, you are going to be working harder than them. And that's no good because it goes back to what I said before. Now you're holding someone else's emotions.
Right. Usually I would say at this point, like, if there's somebody that can benefit from this show, tag them in, put their name down on it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do that. Not tonight. What we are going to ask of you tonight is if you know someone that's going through something, reach out to them, pick up the phone, send them a text message, call them verbally, whichever one you need to do, and suggest to them, hey, you know what? I watched this great show, if that's how you feel about it. Maybe you could watch this, or let's watch this together. That way they don't feel like you are coming for them, because we instantly become defensive. Oh,
right.
What you saying? You calling me crazy? We don't want any of that. So if in fact you do have somebody, again, like Wanda said, we're going to provide a group listing for you that the individuals could reach out to. It's a private group, so everybody don't get to be up in there and be all in your business. But at the same time, I want to provide a place where people can feel comfortable. An extension to Gentlemen After Dark. I don't want you to feel judged. I want you to be able to go, well, dang, I didn't realize that I'm going through this. Like you said, you in the middle of it and don't even realize that you in the middle of it. I am? Yes, you are. And I know we know some people just like that. So did I ask the question about the misconceptions of therapy? We all over the place right here. Not all over because we doing good.
Right.
But
no, you didn't ask it, but I'll answer now that you asked. I think the misconceptions are also the stigmas. Those are also the misconceptions. But in addition to that, I'll say that, and you touched on it a little bit, that there's this misconception that the therapist is an expert of your life and that they're going to fix you. And I always tell, people who, present this situation to me that the therapist is employed by you. You are the employee. I don't care if you're getting your therapist through Medi-Cal, through your insurance provider, whatever. And, the example I always give is if you are going to get your hair cut, you're going to get your nails done, whatever service that you are going to get, if you go to them and you don't like the way they did your nails or you don't like the way they cut your hair, guess what? You're not going to go back to them again. Or you might be open to have a conversation and say, I don't like the way you did my nails. You didn't do them too well. And, maybe you guys will be able to work through it and they'll get it right the next time. Or you're just like, you know what, this didn't work. I don't want to give this another shot. It's no different when you go see a therapist. You are the expert. The whole purpose of the therapist is to help you navigate and to process all of those things that's coming up. Because when you're in it, as I stated before, when you're in the thick of it, or O stated, when you're in the thick of it, you can't see. You don't see things clearly. The therapist is there to help you process those emotions and those struggles and whatever it is that you're going through at the time, and to direct you and link you with whatever appropriate resources that you may need. But fixing you and they're the expert and they know everything. No, I'm educated in the field. I know a lot, but my job is to help you bring to surface the answers that you already know because they live within you. You know what's going on. You know what it is. But because you're carrying all this weight, you can't maneuver through it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's work together to get through that. But the therapist is not capable of fixing it. You hold that power. So don't ever give anyone that much power over you. You have every single right to say, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. This wasn't a good fit. And find someone else. It's just like dating. Sometimes you got to go through a few frogs until you find a prince. That's the quickest analogy that came to mind, but it's
Wait a
no
minute. You told me not to do this one, though I'm gonna give it to you.
It's true. Like it's no different. People are complex, and even in the form of a therapist, I'm still a human being. We're still humans, and people are complex, and sometimes you just don't vibe or whatever it is. But whatever's coming up for you, pay attention to that. Pay attention to those emotions, because I do believe we all have a perfect fit. So yeah.
So, I'm about to throw this curveball at you because it just popped up on my screen. Oh, we all are guilty of this. Miss Veronica, you have just hit a home run with this question. How can you deal with things you can't change?
Okay, so I'm a spiritual person. I make this very clear. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because when you said that, the very thing that came to my mind is there's this prayer, and the prayer says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things that I can. And I think that applies even if you're not a spiritual person. Sometimes things you can't change it. And I won't even say you can't change it, because from a therapist perspective now, I don't know the specifics of that situation. So you may perceive it as something that can't be changed, but again, when you are in the thick of it, you don't see the possibility of what can happen because you're in it. So everything's, kind of foggy. So it's kind of hard for me to speak to that from such a vague perspective. But anything is possible. You can't give up. But it's so hard for me because I don't know the specifics of that situation. But I would say in situations like that, you definitely, and this isn't a good example of where a therapist or someone would be very, very appropriate to help you process whatever it is that you're going through. Because that sounds like you can't see a way out because it's so heavy right now, and where we need someone to help us navigate and maneuver through all those things that are uncomfortable and uneasy to deal with, where those words like can't and won't and all those, absolute words come up for us.
Right.
That's a very, very good indication of some assistance being needed.
Okay. So, we've been applauding you all night and applauding you. So I'm going to give you this all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my sister, who's very shy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But she says, I highly value my therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I keep a standing weekly appointment. She's a great sounding board with a wealth of knowledge and honesty. I love honest feedback, especially from people without skin in the game.
I love that. I like that. I always say that was beautiful. I always say the cool thing about a therapist is like they're your own individual person, because they have nothing invested. It's completely non-biased. Like,
Right.
there's no relationship prior to the one that you enter into. If you talk to your sister kind of knows your history. You talk to your brother, he knows your history. Your mother gave birth to you. She knows everything about you. Your friend knows you. So there's always some bias there.
Right.
Always, good or bad, there's always going to be a bias because these people know you. Even if it's a coworker, they know you to a certain extent. A therapist has no idea about anything other than what you tell them.
Right.
And of course, they'll decipher through certain things, but they have no skin in the game, just like she said.
Right. Man, and thank you, Candace. You another home run here with these questions. You guys, for my audience, man, I hold on, let me do it right this. What I'm really enjoying the most about the conversation, and no, it's not just the fact that Miss Wanda E is spitting knowledge left and right, sharing who she is. What I'm loving is the transparency and the candidness of the audience. you know, usually that role is on me. I need to be transparent. I need to be candid. To win people over. But tonight, my audience has won me over
Mhm.
because they are sharing. Now, I'm reading some of the comments. You know, I don't got one therapist. I got two. I'm visiting them. Like, wow, wait, what? That is
Right.
great. You know what I mean? Because going back to the stigmas, you know, like you said earlier, crazy. Uh, because I'm going to talk to somebody, don't mean that I'm that. I just have to exhale.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
doing this show, Gentlemen After Dark, it started off as me being therapeutic for somebody else. Hey, you know what? You have a beautiful voice. Why don't you start something where people can talk and share how they feel? And you just kind of like be the moderator for that. And it's grown from me just listening to what you say to I get to express myself.
Mhm.
I get to share some of my own personal issues. You know, I know some of my brothers told me, don't you dare cry on that. You better not cry, boy. Okay, I'm not. But guess what?
Right.
Being able to talk to each one of the people here on the show, whoever was here, it allowed me the space to exhale what I was going through. So they in turn was my therapist and I was theirs, if you will. But tonight we are learning so much more about just therapy overall, our mental wealth. And I just really thank you for sharing this platform with me tonight and your expertise and knowledge of this. Um, we got one more question. We
Mm.
got one more. Dun, 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 dun. So the topic of you know, that's been ongoing for a little bit over a year now. How are we being affected mentally with the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah. So Cedar Sinai Hospital started a study at the beginning of this whole pandemic situation. Well, not the beginning. I'll say like midway into it. And so in November of last year, they put out some of the findings. They put out an article. And so in the article, they talked about the goods and the bad, but a theme that came up that is common and consistent in all tragic situations, of course, was depression and stress. So that was the findings and the research that Cedar Sinai did, that depression and stress was prevalent. Of course, it makes perfect sense given the situation. And then also a lot of things that one of the things that we don't really talk about in all of this is people who struggle with addictions. Specifically drug and alcohol, food, sex, shopping, gambling, whatever. Food is an addiction, an addictive behavior. So you think of people who have, diabetes, high blood pressure, and things like that. If you are stuck in your home and you are battling with an addiction and you are depressed and you are stressed, that's almost a death sentence, you know. And the one thing about some of these addictions is they're not always quick; they're slow, the slow burn, you know. So the research that came up, they talked about a lot about that. So the article was phenomenal, but specifically to the pandemic, depression and stress, of course. Now on the flip side, not there's no advantage, but this I won't say the COVID-19 specifically, but the social distance component has not been horrible for everybody. It hasn't. I mean, there have been some benefits to it too, just to keep it, balanced. Um, we've seen parents who've been able to spend time with their kids, work on relationships, get more rest, work on themselves, sleep a little bit more, just recuperate, just a lot of things that they didn't get because they were always stuck in traffic or commuting to all these different activities that all of their kids were involved in, or, so it's been definitely highs and lows for sure. But Depression and stress for sure is the consistency in terms of the outcomes of the pandemic. And um, I'll share more of that in terms of the resources when we wrap up.
I love it. I love it. You have been sharing so much, and it's awesome that you are able to do that. Um, it truly shows that you are about the people. And that's the vibe that I got when I first spoke with you day before yesterday. Like, three. Who is she again?
Mhm.
I like her. And you call three and verify. I'm like, three, I like her. Man, we talked for 2 hours and 3 minutes, and three is like, really? I'm like, really?
Mhm.
And I think you are something special for people. And I pray for your success overall. Not that we're wrapping up, but I'm just thinking out loud. I want to see where you will be um, 5 years from now. I want to see some of my friends, who are going through some things. I'm gonna highlight this young lady, and not to call her out, but I'm a highlighter because for those of us, actually, not sorry, Miss Finnison, not this Michelle. Hold on, I'm gonna come back to you. Well, actually, we can talk about this one, but I don't know so many Michelles. But Michelle says, I've been there for so many of my friends willingly. It is nice to be able to speak to my therapist and to know she is allowing me to talk through some things with someone willing to just listen to me, which, you know, it's a beautiful thing to be able to, and we don't get to do that. Um, Here's another Michelle G. And I was kind of picking on Michelle G. Therapy has really made me see things so differently. I recommend it for anyone who can't figure out how to get out that hole. Hearing someone tell me that it's normal to cry, normal to hurt, normal to be human. Well,
Mhm.
Michelle G was one of my first guests on Gentlemen After Dark, season 1, where we were talking about the pandemic, lonely versus being alone. And I just reached out to Michelle earlier today, hey, how you feel? And she was like, oh my God, um, really? Like, yeah, how do you feel? And she's like, I feel so much better. She sound better. If you, for all of us who remember Michelle G, she was almost in tears just trying to talk about her situation. Today, Michelle was all bubbly. She was feeling good. Why? It's right here. The answer is right here below her name.
Mhm.
It's important, you guys. We have to have somebody to talk to. I need somebody to talk to. Guess what? Miss Wanda needs somebody to talk to. And with that being the case, we just really have to, like I said, to steal some of her words, get quiet. Let me zoom in on her picture one more time. Look at that little yellow note on the side there, guys. It says get quiet. I can see it from my screen. It says get quiet. Like,
Mhm.
that's powerful by itself. We always on the go, 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 go. The pandemic was slowing us down, but now we so anxious to get back out that we about to throw everything that we've learned from the pandemic out the door just so that we can get back outside and play with my friends and
Mhm.
drink and eat in the whole 9 yards. So
Right.
we have about 11 minutes. Um, we're going to talk a little bit about you, your goals. What would you like to see? So what is your ultimate goal when it comes to being a therapist?
Oh wow, that's a heavy question.
Have-
Phew. um, I think my goal is just to, love what I do, continue to love what I do. So, I won't say cliche, but it's easy to say I want to help people. But for me, it's not just helping people, people help me as well. It makes me feel really, really good. Um, when I know that I'm being of service. You know, whether I'm looking for resources, like, you know, today when you when you emailed me the questions, I was like, oh, okay, I can answer them, but let me provide some information as well, you know, because you walk away from a show and it's like, then tomorrow comes and it's so easy to just get on with life and easily forget about yourself and just put that on the back burner. So I want to, you know, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm in it. I just want to continue to grow and build in it. And with that being said, my passion in terms of therapy is group therapy. I love group therapy because I love individual too as well. But what I love the most about group therapy is that I get to learn from you guys. You know, it's a learning experience for all of us. And I get to be a facilitator and listen and hear, because that's what I mean when I say people have the answers. They know, they have it figured out. You just got to talk. And sometimes you don't get to hear yourself. A lot of times the therapist is just literally, even at times, just returning what you stated, just stating what you stated, you know, said, and listening to you like, wow, did she just say that? Or did he just say that? That was so profound. That was so deep. Like, you know, so I get so much out of that. And I'm hoping to build on that. I want to, you know, keep that growing.
So hold on, let me. So as we were talking yesterday, there was something that you said profound. That's a good word. You know, I'm always stealing your words.
Mhm.
Profound. You said something that you wanted to build. To me, I found very profound. What was that you want to build?
Oh, just a community, you know, a shared space for everyone to come and not just, you know, one person, the therapist putting out the information, but people sharing resources that they have. You know, you might have a friend who knows something, or not even a friend because you guys don't know each other. You meet in this group and you get to share resources and information. But I think that the power of the group for sure is that you get to see that you are not the only person going through what you're going through. You're not the only person thinking what you're thinking. I don't care how deep and dark those thoughts may be. You are not alone in that. So I think the power for sure in a group is that you get to see that you are not alone. I don't care what it is that you're thinking about. There's someone who shares the same feelings and sentiment as you do.
Right.
So just a safe place for people to really, really vent, you know, their frustrations, their concerns, ask questions, and learn, you know, learn from one another.
That part. That part. You know, your verbiage yesterday was my goal. I want to build a practice.
Oh, you know, I say so much. So you sometimes you just gotta quote me.
Hey, I want to build a
Practice.
practice.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay, now I remember. Yeah, because we were talking about, you know, this world is becoming something right now. Like, you know, everybody that which is a cool thing too. Like with platforms, like you're able to build your own whatever. You want to be a talk show host, you want to be a television show host, you want to be an influencer. Like we live in a world where you can literally be all of those. If
Right.
you want to build a business, a brand, whatever, you can do all of that. And um, I told, oh no, I just want to build a practice.
Right. Right. Which
That's what he
to me
asked me. He was asking me like, "What is it that you want to do?" And I said, "Oh, I just want to build a practice." That's pretty much it. So I'm doing what I want to do. I don't know. Should I be acquiring for more? I don't know.
right. Because and I asked that because as I'm looking at the comments pop up from the audience, you know, you have some that are looking for somebody to reach out to. They want a therapist. They need a therapist. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those of us who may need that, who want that, and you may not even need it, you just want that at your access. Uh, Wanda E is a wealth of knowledge. Not only is she a wealth of knowledge, but she is a great listener. Um, she listened to me. We even came up with some solutions or some evaluations. Now we're gonna call them evaluations. Um, Libras and Geminis. Ain't that what you said? Something about that? Yeah, we
Oh,
even came
no, I didn't say that. Yeah. He,
Oh shoot.
oh, we discovered that O has some traumas that he's trying to put on the Gemini. I'm a Gemini. Let me just, I know, I can't help it. You got to talk to God. That's just, I'm a Gemini. But he tried to just burn me with that. And I'm like, I can't do anything about Gemini. But we discovered that it wasn't the Geminis. He has some other things.
Some underlining issues. That is that what you're saying? So look,
Right,
you guys,
right. But
I'm gonna
not
do
that I was trying to psychoanalyze you because I am your friend. I am not your therapist. It's
right.
just you had that epiphany and me listening to you.
So Miss Wanda has said a whole lot, you guys. I'm going to put this up on Miss Wanda's behalf. If you are looking to have someone that you can reach out to, take this information right here. It's on Facebook. It's a private group on Facebook that's entitled Therapy Helps. I'm gonna leave that up there for you to write that down or type it up in your phones or on your tablets or whatever. Right now, that group only consists of two people, Wanda E and Onyx.
So can I just elaborate a little bit more on this?
Absolutely,
So,
get it.
so how this came about is when O reached out to me, like he said, we naturally vibe in terms of like goals, what it is that he was doing. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I would love to be of assistance. And while talking to him, not only did he rename me Wanda E, he said, wow, you should, God, I don't know. I was trying to come up with a name for something. And he pretty much stressed the importance of being very clear and keeping things in layman's terms, like making it very, very just plain and simple, right? And so we were talking about a group, just in brainstorming and sharing things. And he said, you should start a group called Therapy Helps. And I literally, as he said that, I wrote it on this pad. So when you go and search for the group, it's literally a picture of the notepad that I wrote down when he said that.
Mm-hmm.
But let me explain what the group is. The group is not or me advertising my specific therapy services. No.
Right.
Because I understand that even getting to a point to where you want to see a therapist, because again, I am not imposing therapy on you. Some people choose church, some people choose whatever it is, their source of so my goal is never ever to impose anything on you. My goal is just to provide information and a shared space and community where people can talk, vent, and meet each other. And so that's what this group is. It's a private group because, again, some people are still scared. They're still hesitant. So every single thing that we talked about today, even the Cedar Sinai article, every single thing I have already posted in that group. So when you go and join, if I hope you all do, you'll see all the resources there in terms of how to find a therapist. What type of therapist should I go to? When we talked about medication, I put some articles on there about who would be prescribing medication and something that came up. So it specifies that psychotherapists, MFTs don't prescribe medication. So anything that you are unsure of, I promised you, I put an article there to cover it. If you see anything that's missing, type it in the comments. It's just as much of your space as it is mine. Matter of fact, it's your space. I'm just the facilitator of it. But or maybe you're just not ready for therapy. You just want a group. Like I said, I love groups. You just want a place where you can come and talk and vent. You want to get on there and just type yada yada yada, whatever, get it off your chest, and allow other people to help you. That's what this is, and build on it. And then also someone shared earlier that they have a friend um, who's going through something. How do you help that friend? Refer them to this place so they can see other people. Because oftentimes what happens is when you get in these environments with other people that's going through something similar to yours, then you start to see, okay, maybe something's wrong. But if you're in a perfect space where everything looks perfect, then you don't always see your reality. So I think this is a good referral tool. Again, it's just O and I right now. So please join. It's a private group. No one, um, it's a safe space. So all the information is there. Recommend it to your friends. But we're gonna keep this thing going. Um, um, I'm gonna, post something in there on a regular basis, topics, like let's just dialogue, let's talk, let's keep it going. So if you've ever joined a group for Facebook is a phenomenal platform. I'm in tons of groups on Facebook. So it's an amazing platform. So I just want it to be a resource and a dialogue place. We can make it into whatever you guys want it to be. But I understand that therapy is a process and it takes some while getting there. So take as long as you want, but in the meantime, go there to get what you need.
And I forgot to say, to set the mood, how you guys like my feng shui garden? I was like, oh, I need something special and relaxing for the show. This safe place where you can exhale. I want you to take this image in your mind and take it with you. When you go to your quiet place, when you just take that moment just to get quiet, remember that. Um, I'm leaving this information up on the board or on the wall here for Miss Wanda E, Wanda Earl. I didn't want to call her Earl because it just reminds me of.
Oh, lady. Tell them how you really feel. Oh, tell them what you told me about my name. Tell them.
Hey, Wanda Earl made me feel like she was in trouble. I'm calling first and last name all together. So we just said Wanda E. But Wanda, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing this platform with me and helping our audience to cope and deal and learn a little bit more about themselves, hopefully. I'm hoping that everybody who is curious, who has a need, who just wants to have the opportunity, reach out to Miss Wanda E here. Therapy helps. And then, I'm sure excuse me, once you do that, she's going to direct you even further, to be able to contact her directly if need be. This young lady is phenomenal. I'm not just saying that because, she's here on this show. I'm saying it because I've actually had 2 days, 3 hours, 5 minutes of conversation with Wanda E to learn a lot more about her. And there's a whole lot that I don't know and a whole lot that she doesn't know, but the energy that she has shared with myself, man, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. You guys, I'm going to leave you with this and stick around, Wanda. Don't go nowhere. I'm sorry. Let me not be rude. Do you have any other final words that you'd like to say before we get out of here?
I want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you, O, for inviting me on your platform. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate you. I hope that I provided some information that is useful and helpful to you all. And if you have little ones or loved ones, please hug them. That's a whole nother story. Me and O can get into a whole nother day.
Right.
But please hug your loved ones. And I want to give a special thank you to Theresa, Three as you call her, for making this happen. You are awesome. So thank you so much for making this happen.
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to leave you guys with this as I keep those words. Therapy helps. You guys, taboo, taboo. Mental wealth, mental health does not have to be taboo. Excuse me, we don't have to treat it as so. If you need the help, you know somebody that needs the help, let's start reaching out. Let's take care of one another. the community in which we live in. I've seen the comment in the Black community, and don't want to just focus on Black, but because that's the bulk of my platform here, guess what? We have to do a better job of taking care of ourselves. That includes our mind. That includes our soul. That includes our body. If we don't do so, you guys, guess what? As most of you know, we become damaged goods. Damaged goods. So let's start healing. Start healing as of today. With that being the case, on behalf of Gentlemen After Dark, I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, special shout out to Miss 3. I'm going to give everybody one of these. Tonight, my audience has been off the chain in a great way. You guys had plenty of questions, comments, transparent moments. I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate that. So, as always, with closing, I'm going to leave you guys with this, and we're going to get out of here. From the desert to the sea, and to all who have decided to chat with me, good evening.